In just 41 seconds, one of Hollywood's most legendary actors went from guest to enemy, triggering a verbal explosion so intense that cameras almost stopped rolling. What started as pointed questions turned into an all-out war of words, with insults flying, voices raised to shouting levels, and ultimately, one of the most dramatic exits in late-night television history. Last night's episode became the talk of the internet within minutes. Robert De Niro, the two-time Oscar winner known for his powerful roles and even more powerful opinions, sat across from Bill Maher for what everyone thought would be another typical celebrity chat. Instead, what unfolded was pure chaos. The kind of television moment that has people rewinding, screenshotting, and sharing across every social media platform imaginable. The studio audience could feel something was off from the very beginning. De Niro walked out with his signature intensity, that look in his eyes that made him famous in movies like Taxi Driver and Raging Bull. He sat down in the guest chair, adjusted his jacket, and gave a small nod to the crowd. The applause was thunderous. People love De Niro. He's a living legend, someone who has spent decades earning respect from fans and fellow actors alike. Maher opened with what seemed like a friendly enough question about De Niro's latest film project. The actor answered professionally, talking about the challenges of the role and working with the director. Everything seemed normal, but then Maher shifted gears. He does this often, moving from softball questions to political topics without warning. It's his style, his brand. But with De Niro, this approach was about to backfire in spectacular fashion. "So Bobby," Maher said, using the nickname in a way that already felt a bit too familiar, "you've been pretty vocal about politics over the years. Some would say maybe too vocal for an actor." The audience went quiet. You could hear the discomfort in the silence. De Niro's expression changed immediately. His jaw tightened. His eyes narrowed just slightly. Anyone who knows his movies would recognize that look. It's the look right before his characters do something intense. "Too vocal?" De Niro repeated, his voice measured, but with an edge. "I'm a citizen. I have every right to speak my mind." Maher leaned back in his chair with that smirk he does, the one that makes it seem like he knows something you don't. Sure. But don't you think sometimes celebrities should just stick to entertaining? I mean, when you guys get political, half the country tunes out." The actor shifted in his seat. "Half the country? Or half your audience, Bill? Because last time I checked, speaking up about things that matter is what this country was built on." There was some scattered applause from the audience. Maher waved his hand dismissively, which only seemed to irritate De Niro more. The host continued, "I'm just saying, when you go on these rants about certain politicians, calling them names, getting all worked up, doesn't that make you look a bit, unhinged?" That word hung in the air. Unhinged. You could see De Niro processing it, his face showing clear offense. "Unhinged? You're calling me unhinged for caring about my country?" Maher shrugged. "I'm saying maybe dial it back a notch. You're an actor. A great one. But nobody's tuning into your movies to hear about your political opinions." The tension in the studio was thick enough to cut with a knife. De Niro leaned forward, his voice getting louder. "You know what, Bill? I've been doing this for 50 years. 50 damn years. And I've never once pretended to be something I'm not. I care about this country. I care about what happens to people. If that makes me unhinged in your eyes, then I guess I'm unhinged." Maher laughed, but it wasn't a friendly laugh. It was mocking. "Come on, Bobby, don't be so sensitive. I'm just having a conversation here." "A conversation?" De Niro shot back. "This isn't a conversation. You brought me here to mock me, to try and make me look foolish in front of these people." He gestured to the audience. The host rolled his eyes. "Oh, please, don't play the victim card. You dish it out all the time. Now you can't take it?" That's when things really started to escalate. De Niro stood up slightly from his chair, not fully standing but clearly agitated. "I dish it out? I speak truth. There's a difference, Bill. A big damn difference." Maher matched his energy, leaning forward now. "Truth? Your truth? See, that's the problem with you Hollywood types. You think your opinion is fact. You live in your bubble, surrounded by people who agree with you, and you think everyone else is stupid." The audience gasped. Some people started booing. This wasn't fun banter anymore. This was real conflict happening live on television. De Niro's face flushed red, Hollywood types? Listen to yourself. You sit here in your studio, on your show, acting like you're so much smarter than everyone else. You talk down to your guests. You talk down to your audience. And you know what? I'm tired of it. Maher tried to interrupt, but De Niro kept going. No, no. You wanted this conversation, so let's have it. You want to call me unhinged? Fine. But at least I stand for something. At least I'm not sitting here playing both sides, trying to be the smartest guy in the room while actually saying nothing of substance. The host's face changed. Now he looked genuinely angry. Saying nothing? Are you kidding me? I've been speaking truth to power for decades. I've been cancelled, threatened, attacked. Don't lecture me about courage, Bobby. Courage? De Niro laughed bitterly. Courage is standing up when it costs you something. What has it cost you, Bill? You've got your show. You've got your audience. You punch down at celebrities for cheap laughs and call it bravery. Maher slammed his hand on his desk. The sound echoed through the studio. Punch down? I go after everyone. Politicians, celebrities, corporations. Nobody's off limits. Except yourself, De Niro fired back instantly. You never look in the mirror, do you? You never question whether, maybe, just maybe, you're the problem sometimes. The audience was divided now. Some people were cheering for De Niro. Others were supporting Maher. The energy in the room was chaotic. You could feel that this had crossed a line. This wasn't entertainment anymore. These two men genuinely did not like each other. And it was showing in every word, every gesture. Maher tried to regain control. Look, Bobby, maybe we should just move on. Talk about your movie. That's what you're here for, right? But De Niro wasn't having it. Oh, now you want to move on? Now that you've had your fun trying to embarrass me? No, you started this, Bill. You brought me on this show knowing exactly what you were going to do. You wanted a confrontation. Well, congratulations. You got one. The host stood up from his chair now, too. Both men were on their feet, facing each other across the desk. I invited you here because I thought we could have an interesting discussion. But clearly, you're too defensive, too caught up in your own righteousness to have an actual conversation. De Niro pointed his finger at Maher. Don't you dare turn this around on me. You insulted me from the moment I sat down. You questioned my right to speak. You called me names. And now you want to act like I'm the unreasonable one? Maybe you are, Maher said coldly. Maybe everyone's been too afraid to tell you the truth because you're Robert De Niro, and everyone's supposed to worship you. The actor's face showed pure rage now. Worship me? I don't want anyone to worship me. I want respect. Basic human respect. Something you clearly don't know how to give. Maher laughed again, that same mocking sound. Respect? You storm onto Twitter every other week, calling people names, acting like you're some kind of moral authority. And you want respect? I speak my mind, De Niro said through clenched teeth. I don't hide behind jokes and sarcasm like a coward. The word coward hit like a bomb. Maher's expression turned ice cold. Get off my show. What? De Niro said. You heard me, Maher repeated, his voice low and dangerous. Get off my show, right now. I don't need to sit here and be insulted by someone who thinks yelling makes them right. De Niro stared at him for a long moment. The entire studio was silent. You could hear people breathing. The cameras kept rolling, capturing every second of this disaster. Gladly, De Niro finally said. He ripped off his microphone, the wire snapping as he pulled it too hard. This is the last time I waste my time with someone like you, Bill. You're everything that's wrong with these kinds of shows. You don't want real conversation. You want conflict. You want to tear people down so you can feel superior. Maher pointed toward the exit. Doors that way, Bobby. Don't let it hit you on the way out. The actor started walking off the stage. But then he stopped and turned back around. You know what the saddest part is? You actually had potential once. You could have been someone who made a real difference. But you chose this instead. You chose cheap shots and smugness over actual substance. What a waste. And you chose to be a washed-up actor desperately clinging to relevance through Twitter rants, Maher shot back. So, I guess we both made our choices. De Niro shook his head, a look of genuine disappointment on his face. I feel sorry for you, Bill. I really do. Then he turned and walked straight off the stage, not looking back once. The audience erupted. Half were booing, half were cheering. Nobody quite knew what to feel. Maher stood there for a moment, clearly trying to process what had just happened. He eventually sat back down, straightened his papers, and tried to smile at the camera. "Well," he said, attempting to sound casual but clearly rattled. "That was interesting. I guess some people can't handle being challenged. We'll be right back after this break." But nobody was buying his attempt at composure. The damage was done. The interview had completely fallen apart, and everyone watching knew they had just witnessed something unprecedented. Robert De Niro, one of the most respected actors in Hollywood history, had been pushed to his limit by a host who seemed more interested in scoring points than having a real discussion. Backstage, crew members described hearing De Niro continuing to vent. As he left the building, he apparently told someone, "That guy has no idea what he's doing. He thinks he's some kind of provocateur, but he's just rude. There's a difference." Meanwhile, Maher tried to continue the show after the commercial break, but his energy was off. He kept making comments about the confrontation, trying to frame himself as the reasonable one, but it came across as defensive. The audience remained tense for the rest of the episode. Security had to escort some audience members out who were arguing with each other about what they had just witnessed. One person reportedly shouted, "De Niro was right," while another yelled back, "Maher was just asking questions." The conflict had spread beyond the stage into the crowd itself. This wasn't the first time Maher had gotten into heated exchanges with guests. He's known for pushing buttons, for saying controversial things. But this felt different. This felt personal. The way he went after De Niro seemed designed to humiliate rather than to genuinely explore ideas. And De Niro, who has never been one to back down from a confrontation, gave it right back to him. The internet exploded within minutes. Clips of the argument started circulating everywhere. People were taking sides, creating memes, analyzing every word. Some defended Maher, saying he was just doing his job as a provocative interviewer. Others slammed him for being disrespectful to a legend. But almost everyone agreed on one thing. This was must-see television. The confrontation raised bigger questions about the nature of these talk shows. Are they really about having conversations? Or are they about creating viral moments? Do hosts actually want to understand their guests? Or do they just want to generate controversy for ratings? And at what point does challenging someone cross the line into bullying? For De Niro, this moment seemed to represent everything he's been fighting against. The dismissiveness, the mockery of people who cared deeply about issues. The idea that celebrities should just shut up and entertain. He's never been that kind of person, and he made it clear he never will be. For Maher, this might have been a step too far. While he's made a career out of controversial moments, this one felt mean-spirited. It felt like he was punching at someone just to prove he could, not because he had anything meaningful to say. And when De Niro pushed back, Maher couldn't handle it. Instead of engaging with the criticism, he kicked his guest off the show. The whole thing lasted maybe 15 minutes from start to finish, but it felt like hours. Every second was packed with tension, with genuine emotion, with two powerful personalities refusing to back down. It was uncomfortable to watch, but impossible to look away from. As word spread about what happened, other celebrities started weighing in on social media. Some supported De Niro, praising him for standing his ground. Others stayed silent, perhaps not wanting to get involved in the drama. A few defended Maher, arguing that guests need to be able to handle tough questions. But the overwhelming consensus seemed to be that Maher had gone too far this time. There's a difference between challenging someone's ideas and insulting them personally. There's a difference between provocative interviewing and being deliberately antagonistic. And last night, Maher crossed those lines repeatedly. The most telling moment might have been right at the end, when De Niro said he felt sorry for Maher. That wasn't said with anger. It was said with genuine sadness. Like he saw someone who had lost their way, who had let their need to be controversial override their ability to connect with people on a human level. As De Niro walked out of that studio, he carried himself with dignity despite the chaos. He didn't throw anything. He didn't continue screaming. He simply removed himself from a situation that had become toxic. And in doing so, he made a powerful statement about knowing your worth and refusing to be disrespected. No matter how big the platform, The cameras captured him disappearing through the exit, the door closing behind him with a heavy thud that seemed to echo through the entire studio. Maher sat at his desk, alone, trying to salvage what remained of his show. But everyone knew the real story of the night had just walked out the door, taking whatever credibility the evening might have had along with him.